For more on our top story, we also want to take a look at the economic impact. The government reaction has been complicated. Maricruz Magowan is the Vice President of the National Economists Club. She joins us here in Washington, D.C. in the studios. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you, Phillip.
You know, this is interesting. It's Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Darkness has now fallen. These protests continue to take place, and there's a sort of sense that a lot could happen over the weekend. What are you worried about most?
The repercussions not only in the economy of Brazil, but in the economy of Latin America and all the countries that are trading partners with Brazil. It is a sad story because Brazil was a source of pride in Latin America, but I am also confident that they can change the course of the ship.
Who's in the streets? Who is protesting exactly? Is it the workers? Is it the middle class?
But it's interesting, it's not only one group, it's many kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds that are going out to the streets. And the reasons why they are protesting are a little bit different. Some of them say, why are they spending so much money in all of these stadiums in preparation for the 2014 and 16 when we don't have money to eat? Those are the very poor ones. The others in the universities are saying, why we are spending all of this money and not taking care of the corruption. President Dilma Rousseff, one of the first promises she made is there won't be any corruption in Brazil anymore. I will not tolerate that. However, it's still there and it's growing. So that's another group of people. And then there are the ones that were happy with Lula da Silva because in spite of the fact that Lula da Silva was from a left-wing workers' party, he had a set of economic policies that were based on market-based policies. And that was good for the country, to improve the investment and all of that. However, Dilma Rousseff took the country a little bit more toward to the left and increased tremendously the spending of the federal government. And 84% of that spending that raised the inflation, by the way, is going to pensions, something similar to the Social Security that we have here.
The rest of the world has looked at Brazil as one of the key BRIC countries, if not one of the key countries around the world, that's almost an example of have gone from a very difficult period to sort of arguably a more successful period in its history. What has gone wrong? Is it the policies that have gone wrong, or is it the wealth distribution that is not getting to the people, as you alluded to?
I would put more weight in the domestic policies that were changed by the current President Dilma Rousseff. As I said, the main idea of her policies was based on income redistribution. We know that doesn't work. Didn't work in Brazil, didn't work in the former Soviet Union, not in Cuba, not in Venezuela. It just doesn't work. You cannot erase the incentive for people to work and keep the money they worked for. If you tell somebody, work hard, but then we are going to take part of the money and give it to somebody else. Exactly.
Explain to our viewers why the tax system, in your opinion, is fair or unfair?
It is very unfair because more or less the income from the GDP coming from taxes right now in Brazil is 36%, higher even than in the United States. And this is a country in transition going higher, but it's not still considered a developed country. So you cannot have such a burden, ask people to work 4 months out of 12 months just to pay taxes, and then you don't give them back what they paid for.
That's one thing we have in common around the world is everybody wants to have lower taxes no matter what country you're in. The Olympics are coming up in Brazil. The World Cup is coming up.
Yes.
And you know, we mentioned in the lead into the story that the world is watching. How much pressure is there on the government to do something, to either stop the protests or compromise with the protests? Because there's an image problem here too.
They are in a very difficult position, but I like the way Dilma Rousseff has talked to the people that are protesting. Unlike Turkey, she didn't go violent on them or hard on them. She said, I understand you. So probably on that part, from that point of view, this protest could lower down or they can get some agreement. But on the other hand, she has to deliver. She has to deliver the 2014 World Cup and the 2016. And for that reason, she needs to have that country in order. And she needs those stadiums and the infrastructure that comes with
There's been talk, the people want action. Maricruz Magowan, thank you very much for joining us from the National Economists Club here in Washington, D.C.